Not on My Watch show. I'm Dr. Baruch, and we are again in store for a really good show, really powerful show, as we seek to always bring content that we think would be beneficial to you as a human being first, and then as somebody local to the DC metropolitan area. What we're going to be talking about, I think, is going to be something that is significant for you and those of us who want to be healthier, and those of us who are concerned about the health of the planet, and those of us who want to connect back, especially many of us of a darker hue, who want to connect back to our country or continent of origin. All of that's going to be going on in our show today. Again, this is the Not on My Watch show. I am Dr. Baruch, and we're going to get things cranked up right now. We have some special guests in our studio today. We have Brother John and Brother Yao, and we're going to learn who they are, and we're going to learn what it is that they're doing, and why we here at eLife and the Not on My Watch show thought it was a really good idea that they come on the show and share with us the work that they're doing and who they are. So we'll start with the second question. First off, good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Oh, we're doing fine.
Great.
Very good. Thank you.
And thank you for coming on board. You know, it's exciting. I've met you too, and I knew that there were some things that we needed to do together. So I'm thankful that you would accept my invitation and come on the show and share with the world ultimately what it is that you're doing. So let's jump right in, Brother Yao. You weren't born here in the United States of America, and it's not only obvious by your cultural expression, but the way you speak is a little different. Tell us about yourself. Where are you from, and how did you get here? How long have you been here?
Okay, so my name is Yao and John. Originally from Togo, West Africa. And I have been here longer than I lived in Togo, really. So I'm talking about over 30 years. But during this whole time, I've been involved in agriculture.
Great. And your involvement in agriculture was you came here to go to school, or you just came from Africa having been a farmer and came here and picked up farming?
I came here originally to go to school to learn agricultural equipment maintenance and shift to food production instead. Of course, I didn't finish my studies, but I continued my studies by going through educational settings at universities such as Prairie View in Texas, where I earned a certificate in small farm planning.
Okay, great. Well, again, welcome. And Brother John, you've been on this is your first rodeo here at eLife Media, but for those who are in the audience who may not know, give us a little background on yourself. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for inviting me over. My name is John Manirakiza. I was born and raised in Burundi, that is in East Central Africa. I came here 18 years ago. So I did, previously I studied law. I was preparing to become a lawyer. And then with the situation in my country of origin, Burundi, due to a civil war, I had to leave and come and live here. So my involvement with agriculture started when I started working, serving new immigrants, what we call now new Americans, who were interested in doing farming. And so I started about 5 years ago. That's when I started getting involved with farming and knowing what that is all about. So now I am involved with, I'm under the apprenticeship of Mr. Yao here, learning about food production, food distribution, food, everything associated with food right now. So I'm glad to be here.
Great. And Brother Yao, you're working with one of the local universities, right?
Yes, I do, and I must have to put in a disclaimer because before getting on this program, I should have gotten the permission from my university, but I hope that, we're not going to be talking about anything that will hurt the university. So yes, I work with the University of the District of Columbia at the School of Agriculture, Urban Sustainability, and Environmental Sciences, in short, CAUSES. And CAUSES is embarked on urban agriculture. And the purpose for that is to respond to the feeding needs of the district residents who actually live in what we call food deserts. And so as we speak, CAUSES is installing what we call food hubs across the district in strategic places, such as there's one near here on East Capitol Street, just across the street from the Capitol Heights Metro Station.
Oh, okay.
And if you go there, you'll see the example of what we're doing. And we wanted to show the many different aspects of urban agriculture. And so we are into such thing as aquaponics, and it's a system that combines raising fish and using the fish matter to grow healthy food. And we are also getting the residents of the area involved in learning how to sustainably grow their own food and of course, begin to eat nutritious food that they grow themselves.
Wow, it's really exciting. And how has the reception been in the neighborhood there?
It's been wonderful.
Great.
It's been wonderful. People sign up for training how to grow vegetables sustainably, and people have now taken ownership of their own plots to grow vegetables. It's a beginning. It's a little slow, but it's coming. We have, ardent response from the people, even from outside of the area, coming to get trained. So it is a successful thing. I must tell you too that UDC has one of the largest rooftop gardens at our campus on Connecticut Avenue at our campus. So it is a huge plan. It's a huge project. So, but of course, I work a lot out of our farm, our research farm in Bellsfield. We call it the Firebird Farm. And at the Firebirds Farm, I have a demonstration plot where I grow and teach and train people how to grow ethnic food crops. And the ethnic food crops is in response to the ever-growing immigrant population of this area. And so they let me go ahead and outreach to the immigrants and let them know that their food can be grown here, and they will have access to that food, and also be able to afford it.
Now, what you're doing down here in D.C., just across from the Capitol Heights Metro Station, is that is it like you get a membership and people can then come and pick from the garden, or they get a plot? How does that work with the community?
People have to register to train. You train in growing food sustainably. When we talk about sustainability, it means that you have to know all the little intricacies. And of growing food in the city, beginning by, say, testing your soil to make sure that your soil does not have contaminants that may hurt your feeding purpose. So that's how we recruit. We do an outreach program into the communities, and people come and register. The ones who are interested in getting trained to really do it properly.
And in the training or in the workshops that you're doing with the residents, are they being educated on the health benefits? Or is this more so in the area of, look, if you do this, you're not gonna have, your food budget is gonna be less, or both?
Yes, Causes has many programs, and we have the Center for Nutrition and Diet and Health, and that center is commissioned to reach out to the population to teach them what's good food and what's not good food. And so yes, and then the economic aspect of it is that they can save a lot of food by growing their own, and then also being sure that they are getting the true nutrition out of what they grow.
Great. John, tell us a little bit about what's going on there in Beltsville with with what you're growing, that is those ethnic or those crops that are coming from outside of America.
Yeah, sure, definitely. Like Yao just said, there's a growing number of new Americans, also known as immigrants, and sometimes in the process of what you would call acculturation, you changing culture, diet, habits, and all that. They get to a point where they begin to think about changing their diet back to what they were used to. That could be for various reasons. You may be aware of the fact that the diet here is more calorie-based, a lot of sugar, a lot of protein from meat. And then the effect of that on their health is visible because the human HHS, the Human Health Department, has already said that minorities, including Black Africans, are the higher risk of getting chronic diseases, non-communicable diseases, that is diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure, heart disease. And the experts now are saying that some of it there is a correlation with the diet. Sure. The changing of your diet from more vegetable and fruit-based, less meat, to a more meat-based diet. So upon realizing that, they are saying that probably it's a good idea to revert back to a diet that is more healthier than that. So they begin to really demand this food, and sometimes it just comes in highly processed form that is imported from some country. It comes even as far as China. And so you can see international markets are propagating all over the place. The demand is high, but again, for those who want fresh food, vegetable and fruits that they are used to, they don't have enough of it in the area. So that's why we say that part of our interest here is to not only know how to produce food, but also how to reach out to the community and make it accessible and affordable for them to get this food. So we have a variety of crops at the farm. We have been learning about the production system. We have come to a point where we understand, or we have a good grip on the production system. And that now we are into thinking about how do we expand it. And some of the crops that we are doing by the names like boma, garden eggs, variety of hot peppers, jute leaves, hibiscus. Those are some of the main crops that we are focusing on so that people can have access to it in this region.
Yeah, that's great. And of course, when I had the opportunity to come over, I've been over there several times to see what you're producing over there. It's really powerful. You know, I have land in West Virginia, and it's probably about an acre and a half. And I go there every 2 weeks to cut the grass, which is kind of painful for me because I think, wow, you know, I should be growing something.
Right.
I should be coming down here every 2 weeks and getting, you know, a harvest.
Right.
And it just hasn't kind of played out that way as of yet, but I still look forward to it. I look forward to learning, you know, the work that you all are doing, learning more about it and how it can be done. And I'm sure, you know, there's not only the encouragement for the local farms to be set up, but also people to now be able to set up their own, you know, plot in their backyard or in a box in their window.
Absolutely.
Well, that's good stuff. So how large is the plot, Brother Yao? How large is the garden down here in Capitol Heights?
It's a rather large area, maybe 2 acres. It's an abandoned house is there before.
Yes.
And it was torn
I
down.
remember.
Yes. So and so we divided that into many little plots that people can actually own. They are like raised beds,
Yes.
and we imported the soil so that they can have a safe soil to grow their foods in. I wanted to continue what John was saying about our crops.
Okay.
Because this booklet here is put together to actually show the nutritional value. It's a nutritional value guide and some recipes for people, and they can access this on our the causes website. And it's a rather interesting booklet. Many of the recipes I composed, and of course the growing aspect of it comes from us.
Now, the nutritional value, I was surprised to hear some of the levels of nutrition that was available in the food that you all are growing over there. I believe it was the cowpeas that I was told that it had a very high level of protein. What are some of the significant nutritional benefits of what you got growing over there between is it pronounced Goma?
Boma.
Boma.
Well, Boma is actually just a part, it comes from the family of eggplants. And both the leaves and the fruits are eaten. There are some people who prefer the leaves, and there are some people who prefer the fruits. And actually, I thought it was an African fruit, African vegetable, but it's eating all over the world, because I have had some people from Southeast Asia who came to the farm and jumped on it, and so we know now that these vegetables are world vegetables. They're just prevalent in West Africa, but all depends upon how you eat them. And we are actually embarked on a program that will show or help the Africans also to eat these vegetables properly. For instance, not to overcook these vegetables and take the life out of the vegetables. So we have a lot to do in terms of education with these programs.
Okay, and so do you offer then those cooking classes there, right there on the farm, the plots that you have?
Yes.
And they're called what again? What is the community farm set up here in Capitol Heights called?
Oh, they're called Food Hubs.
Food Hubs.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, we have demonstration classes. We have food tasting events, so the people will learn how to eat these foods and also how to cook healthy meals.
And is that only in the District of Columbia, or have you gotten into Maryland and Virginia?
Well, you know, if you talk about the District of Columbia, you're talking about the whole metro area. And we are not limited as to who wants to come and get education. But primarily, our efforts are guided towards the residents of the District of Columbia. But I have now seen that a lot more people are interested in coming out of Washington, Maryland and Virginia, even West Virginia, and Pennsylvania at that.
And with the food hubs that you're creating, is this land that's being made available to you from the DC government, or is the UDC buying this land? How is that being worked out?
I am not too sure what the arrangements are, but the DC government is very involved in promoting urban hygiene, urban agriculture, and making use of most abandoned and unused plots in the district. So these are some of the reasons why Causes is doing this program. And so I am almost sure that the District of Columbia provides these plots in return for what we can do with them.
And the students there at UDC, are they benefiting from the work that you're doing?
Oh, definitely. We have a tremendous student involvement. We have students who are doing internship, and of course at the graduate level, and they help with the research, and they help with whatever work that needs to be done to promote, to advance the cause.
Now, these are crops that primarily grow, and I would suspect a more arid or maybe a warmer climate. And you're bringing them here to the DC metropolitan area, which is quite cool, as you all can see over the last couple of nights anyway. How are they surviving? How did they take? Did you have any trouble with any of the crops that you planted?
Well, as I said, these are just varieties of crops that we already know.
Oh, okay.
And so we call them different names, and they have different shapes. So, for instance, I'm holding in my hand a garden egg,
yes,
which is a variety of eggplant. And so eggplants grow here, and you can begin to grow eggplants as of May, and you can harvest through the first frost through October. So we have had the chance to have warmer climates right now, and so these are adapting so wonderfully, and so they have everything that we're growing is adapting very well.
Now, adapting is something that piques my interest, because I'm just wondering about the quality of the soil and the soil here in the United States of America as compared to the soil there in Africa. I can remember there being a process that a gentleman who had a large farm would engage. He would burn the entire farm, so everything would go up in flames, and probably within 2 days, you would see plants start coming back up through the soil, maybe a little bit more than that, but I was there to witness the whole thing. And I was amazed that after that, I thought once you burn, plants, or you burn the soil, then it's done. You're gonna waste some years for the soil and the plants to recover. But how have the plants done as far as, is it producing the same plant as you would find there on the continent of Africa or wherever it is from? Or is there some variation based on the fact that the climate is different, the sun exposure is different, and the soil is different?
Well, we don't actually slash and burn, and because in Africa that's the only way that the poor farmers can clean their farms, and also hope that the ashes can become useful in terms of nutrients in the soil for the plants. Over here we have different methods, and we do what we call cover cropping. At our farm, we encourage farmers not to use artificial fertilizers. So we teach them how to use biological ways of growing food. For instance, we encourage cover cropping. So we grow cover crops such as veg, wheat, and so on, clover. And so we turn those things into the ground and we call them green manure. So that's how we fertilize our soil. We amend that soil. We embarked upon making our own compost also. We encourage compost making so that you can amend your soil and to grow more vigorous plants.
Great.
And to add to what he just said, the farm also has a goal of turning everything, recycling everything out of the production. So we have, at the end of the process, you have zero waste. That is, everything is recycled into the ecosystem. You avoid wasting anything. So that can be one thing we do to help people realize that we can reduce a lot of the waste.
Right.
So at our food hubs, the theme is to do production, do consumption, processing, consumption, marketing, and also making sure that there's no waste. So at the end, what is left is composted and turned back into the soil.
And now this progress that you're making here in the United States of America, I know you all are men who have great respect, regard, and honor for the places that you come from. What are we doing for the continent of Africa that is not going to steer Africa back or down the road that America has gone down in destroying its own crops and destroying its own agriculture and land? What are we doing there to help the African farmer, be more successful in sustaining life in his own country, where you go to many other countries now on the continent, and they're getting food from Europe and America as opposed to food that they can grow right there, on their own land.
Before I came to the U.S., of course, in between time, I used to work for an organization that you might have heard of. It's called OIC, Opportunities on Industrialization Center, created by the late Reverend Leon Sullivan.
Yes.
And so I had my own OIC program in Togo, where we created an agricultural training center. Of course, again, that is to help the farmers, the small farmers, learn how to sustainably grow food and also to have respect for the land. But here, what we are doing is we are showing the immigrants, lots of them come to the farm to see, by curiosity, to see that what we are doing is real and that we are actually growing some of the foods that they know. And so they are taking this information and sending it to their people and telling them that they really don't need any more exports, imported food here, that they get fresh food here. And it's amazing. We have had visits from entrepreneurs who are, hoping to do farming or are doing farming. So when you come to our farm, it is a closed loop where we grow, we process, and we market. And of course, we're not marketing now, but we are training entrepreneurs so that they can become marketers of these foods. But then we close the loop, and so they come and they see these things, and we have tremendous interest People keep coming and asking for information. And when I leave you, I have an appointment at the farm with a group of entrepreneurs, farming entrepreneurs from Nigeria who will be waiting for me to tour the farm. And they are very interested in learning how to replicate what we are doing at the Firebirds.
And to add to what he just said, it's a very good conversation starter to see people who have migrated to the land of plenty get involved into
Which is the land of plenty? I just want to make sure I'm clear. Which is the land of plenty again?
Well, you know what I mean.
Okay.
So it's a conversation starter, and you have people who have not valued the land because of historical perspectives. I had a chance to talk to a young club of Marcus Garvey's club, and these are young children who were born here in DC. And they're interested in the philosophy of Marcus Garvey, and so Marcus Garvey was big on agriculture and economic development and all that. And one of the things that I remember was that the perception of agriculture or land development was skewed based on the historical legacy of slavery.
Sure.
And that has made some people look down on agriculture as related to any type of economic development because they felt working the land is basically going back into slavery. However, the facts are that the black people that came here, they were already expert agriculturists. That's why they did so well. So they were already connected into food production. They knew what to do. And so these young people, for the first time, they changed how they look at agriculture. And they started thinking about what can we do with our parents' land or our whatever land we have, can we be producing food for our communities? So that's one, education and outreach to people, but also young people in Africa. We say a lot of young people in Africa are migrating to the urban area. There's an exodus, urban exodus. Everybody wants to migrate to the city. And then that's what creates a lack of labor in rural Africa. And then at the end of the day, Africa begins to import food because they cannot produce enough food locally. But we are still telling young people, the ones we are in conversation with, to begin to think about agriculture as not only an economic way out, but also as a service to your community. And that way, people are kind of changing, sometimes they're changing their mind in reference to how they perceive agriculture.
Now, economically, I would suspect that there's an economic component to this. You know, you're not building these food hubs and not, you know, in some way making them sustainable in and of themselves. What is the plan going forward? You know, one, to make it sustainable, but also maintain the affordability to your local customer there.
Well, you know, everything is related. And when you are teaching people how to grow their own food, they will eventually begin to save money by growing their own foods and save money by eating nutritious food and not getting sick, eating processed foods. So, you know, if that isn't economic, I don't know what is. Yes, those things, those aspects, those factors matter. That people need to stay healthy and economically be sound.
Also, if I just add to what he said, the trend is that people are looking at the production of protein, animal protein, based, and the cost of it is high. It consumes a lot of water, a lot of money. I don't know how many gallons it takes to just to feed one cow, or how much money it takes. So there's an organization I was just reading up, a new organization that it's a collection of investors who have looked at the return in terms of animal-based protein and vegetable-based protein. So it's a study out of Oxford, England. The briefing is called "The Future of Food: The Investment Case for a Protein Shaker." Shaking up the way we produce protein, moving from animal to vegetables. And they're saying that a group that is holding about 1.25 trillion institutional investors, they are going to the big food multinationals and asking them to look at how they invest the money, so how they produce food. So they name like the big ones like General Mills, Walmart. There was all these big industrial producers of food. There's Kraft Heinz, Nestle, Unilever, Tesco, Walmart, General Mills. All of them, they are telling them, we are going to look at how we invest our money based on how you produce your food. If you move from animal to plant, we are going to reconsider our investment. So they are looking at the economic part of it as, look, it's best to use vegetable protein rather than the animal protein. So the movement is out there. It's not just, it is catching up.
And go ahead, brother.
Yeah, I wanted to also say that in our aquaponics system, for instance, it takes, in a natural setting, about 30 to 35 gallons of water to grow one fish. And in our system, it takes 3 gallons to grow one fish. So there's a big difference. And so this is all to know how to use water and also how to treat the environment.
And in aquaponics, how does the water, so the waste from the fish is then brought to the plants, which is a natural process. I think it was, John, you shared with me the other day that more, maybe it was Yao, but it was more plants are growing in the ocean than there are on the face of the earth, or there's more surface area that's covered by water. So obviously, we need to start looking at that paradigm and seeing how we can take advantage of that. But how are the plants being nourished by the waste from the fish? And then how do the fish get nourished from what it is that is, I guess, comes from the plant?
Well, the number one nutrient out of that the fish waste is nitrate. And so, we are producing nitrate, we are feeding the plant nitrogen, especially because we are growing vegetables, and nitrogen helps foliage. And so it's amazing. I think when you came to the farm, you saw our setups, and where we are using the fish matter to grow these vegetables. Another way that we use fish matter is to buy fish emulsion, that is ground fish, and some companies actually incorporate seaweed in them to help. The water is recycled, and we have tanks, and we have a filtration system that separates all the elements. So what goes to the plant is actually very healthy, and we do constant testing to see that the plants are not contaminated in any way.
And these food hubs are they going to be 365 days, or is this just going to be for the summer or warmer season? You know, how does that work?
They're going to be year round. They're going to be year round in that, the aquaponic system or the hydroponic system is inside. It's in a greenhouse. So if you go to the East Capitol setup, you'll see that we have a big greenhouse where the tanks, the fish tanks are, and also the vegetable tables are.
And this is already set up. This is in operation right now.
Yeah, we have the fish. We have growing fish at the farm right now. We don't have fish at the East Capitol setting yet, but everything is set up and they're going to bring fish in shortly.
Okay. And is this a place that somebody who does not have, who's not registered, but wants to kind of see how things are done? Is there visiting hours? Is there a time when somebody can come and just observe the process?
Oh yes, at all times. It is actually open for the public to come see. And of course, we also have a farmers market set up, and every Saturday morning from 8 o'clock going on to 2 o'clock, there's a farmers market at the farm. And so it is quite an interesting place. People are welcome to come visit, and we have people there to explain to you what's going on.
So we recommend people give us a notice or at least register with the school so that we know they're coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
We do have groups, students from the area schools, businesses, and who are coming to visit these centers.
That's a very, very good point that you bring out. When we go to elementary schools or the middle and high schools in the DC metropolitan area, many times you see what is being offered to our students is less than good as far as food. And are we also looking to connect up with the local school system to possibly convert some of that backyard space that we used to run around and play in, but now recess is a thing of the past seemingly in America? But are we converting some of that space to now be able to use to actually grow food so that a child can learn the cycle of life of dropping a seed in the ground, watering it, weeding it, and then seeing an eggplant come out the ground that you can eat? And you didn't spend any money to get it. All it needed was sunlight, air, dirt, and a seed. Are we doing that? Are we connecting up with the local school system as well?
Oh yes, because now the children are learning that food that they eat does not grow at the giant store, and so now they're coming. They have tours. They get hands-on. They come to these centers and they come to the farm and they learn. They are learning very fast, and then through our 4-H club at the university, there's a heavy outreach program towards the school children. And so we are very involved with the school children.
Okay, great. And the farmers market, I would suspect, is the way that you're able to help to support and sustain, because I'm sure you have staff there. And you got to buy that. You got to import the dirt, right?
Yeah. Well, yes, we have to now bring dirt in, but eventually we want to begin to do composting on the ground so that the people can have a solid and healthy soil to grow in.
Are you doing any type of, matrix and so that you can measure the impact that you're having on the community? Is there any involvement with the local health department to now take a group of people and assess where they are with regard to their health? This is a population of people that are heavily dependent on pharmaceutical drugs, or this is a population of people that are sick. And now we're seeing after 6 months or however long of consuming more food that is grown locally right here in their own plot, that they register and that they upkeep. Are we measuring that?
Well, first, we have other departments at the causes who do that. Mm-hmm. And of course, I'm not authority on that, but we do have departments from youth to gerontology, to measure the impact of our efforts. And so, I cannot give you figures as of now, but then, yes, we have systems set up to measure the impact.
Mhm.
Yes.
And what's the goal? What's the future? Where is this going? I know you got the plot in Beltsville and you got the food hubs. What's the next phase? Is it just the expansion of what it is that you're already doing, or is there something new on the horizon that you could share with with our public?
Well, the goal actually is this is a response to a need that is in our communities. For instance, if you go to Ward 5 or Ward 7 or Ward 8, the population suffers. You have to go over 1 mile to access a food store, a grocery store. And if you find one, what you find there is amazing. It's all dead. But so we want people to be able to access healthy food on a long stretch, not just. This is not a phase, a fade, or anything that's happening for a short term. We want this to stay for the longest time, so that people can be healthy by eating healthy food.
Mm-hmm.
So our actual motto is healthy city, healthy people. So that's where we're going.
And from the other side of, I was talking about the economic aspect of it. There is also a plan to involve small farmers, smallholder farmers who have land that is available. And like you were saying, you have a piece of land in West Virginia that is sitting there, and you're paying tax on it,
Yes.
you're not producing anything on it. It will make a little bit economic sense to use that land in production of some of these crops.
Tomorrow, it makes a lot of sense to me. Tomorrow, I'll give you the address.
Yes, so we are engaged in talking to people who may have land that is sitting there not doing anything, and then encouraging them to get the technical assistance to do the production, so that it makes sense for the communities, it makes sense for at least balancing the what I would call the monoculture farming systems in this country. You only have like a feedstock type of
The corn and the
soybean, and all this is mostly for animal feed.
Right.
It's not for human consumption. So we want to kind of like nudge people into the other direction. Produce for human consumption. Produce for for the local community.
So one we want to talk about, it is very easy to make, say, I'm taking the low end here, $25,000 per acre to grow these ethnic crops. Whereas, you can only make so much growing corn on that 1 acre or so that you have. And so we encourage the entrepreneurs to take a look at these ethnic crops and make an economic sense of it.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. Well, it's really been great having you all on, and we actually have some of the food that we got from the farm. We got some of that food that we're going to offer back to you after we prepared it. So hopefully you will enjoy that. We did a little work with the peppers. And what's the name of the peppers? Because I know they're not bonnet peppers, or are they?
There are varieties. In the Caribbean, you call them Scotch bonnets. But in West Africa, for instance, we have one, the yellow one is called Denya. And then, of course, we have the chocolate Congo, and we have some peppers that pack flavor but are not hot.
Yes.
We have those also. So, we have a variety of a really large variety of peppers that we grow.
Mhm.
Yes, we have hot, and then intermediary hot, and then not hot at all. It's, yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with the hot ones, yes. How can our community get involved and help you? You know, for those who might see this video on the other side of the world even, you know, what is it that person on the other side of that camera can do to assist you in what it is that you're doing?
Well, we encourage that you go to the cause's website, where you can register yourself as a volunteer and come and have a hands-on experience with us. And so it's working. People are signing up and volunteering time, and then also going away with healthy food. Yes.
And the home website is www.udc.edu/causes. That's CAUSES.
Give it to us one more time.
That is www.udc.edu/CAUSES. Causes.
Great.
And go to the volunteer center.
There's a registration form for volunteers, and also you can contact us through that. We have a blog, we have a Facebook account, and a Twitter, and a blog linked to that website.
Sure. That is great. Go ahead.
Yeah. Before we get off, I'd like to say that John is actually part of my training group. I have young people who are training with me, and we are being supported by SARE. SARE is a branch, the educational branch and outreach branch of NIFA, the National Institute of Food and Agriculture. And SARE is supporting us to do this training. And so John, when they leave me, they're going to become entrepreneurs who will grow, process, and sell these crops. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's really sounds great, and I really thank you, both of you gentlemen, for coming on and sharing with us what it is that you're doing, and even how we can get involved with what it is that you're doing. So for those of us who want to find out more, again, you go to the website, udc.edu/causes, and I would suspect they could find the food hubs there. Their local food hubs.
Yes.
And sure, that's great. Now, before you go, just one thing that comes to mind at the tail end here. What about our residents who can't make it to the food hub? You know, is there any plan to possibly do some type of distribution?
Sure. We have a mobile van now that we are, it causes as a mobile van and goes to areas where people cannot come to the market. So that's, we got it down. And so it's working. Our mobile van will go to the people, and hopefully we will multiply that. Yes.
That's good stuff. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on board. This is the Not On My Watch show. We're talking about a program over at the University of the District of Columbia. We've got in our studio today Brother John and Brother Yao, who are working with the ethnic crops there, and also the food hubs here in the Washington, D.C. area. Again, thank you, gentlemen, for coming on board. And thank you for those of you in the viewing and listening audience for indulging us as we talk about something that I think is really important going forward, that is going to make a major impact on our quality of life, our quality of health in our community, and even our length of life. And I think also affording an opportunity for people to get into the business of agriculture and farming, where we've all migrated from the south up here to the north, where we kind of wanted to get away from that, but I don't know that was the best decision for us as we reflect now on our economic and physical health. But until next time, this is the Not On My Watch show. You all stay tuned for more great programming. We're going to be right back in just 1 minute. You all stay tuned.